poetic landscapes, inspiring stories, mindful insights, conscious creating. Whether you're seeking tips, tidbits, or techniques to elevate your life, become leading-edge creators or gain a deeper understanding of law of attraction, this space is dedicated to supporting your journey, where every thought is a seed and every feeling is a blossom, in the garden of endless possibilities. Stay tuned.
How would you know you're seeing clearly if you didn't see not clearly? How would you appreciate the clarity that you found if you hadn't lived in some sort of discord? How could you live other than living in alignment with Source? Source within you is beating the drum of who you are.
Welcome to Infinite Consciousness, a daily inspirational podcast that's dedicated to helping you manifest your dreams faster through law of attraction. Thank you for joining us. We're thrilled to have you here.
Thoughts in bloom. In any form of government. In lands of freedom, people stand, but many wear a silent band. Not shackles forged of chain and steel, but bindings that their hearts conceal. In every form, the bonds remain, not in the laws, but in the brain. For freedom's found, not in the creed, but in the thoughts that sow the seed. Attachment grips, and clouds the way. With every fear, it dims the day. For well-being, ever free, can only flow when minds agree. It's not the state, nor reign, nor law, that keeps the soul from what it saw. But in the heart, where thoughts reside, true freedom lives and cannot hide.
Prepare to be taken on a journey where anything is possible, and every turn brings you closer to a spark of curiosity, a twist of tale, or a choice that changes everything.
What if the freedom you seek isn't found in the laws or government of your country, but deep within yourself? Join us on an insightful journey as we follow Elliot, a man living in a democratic nation yet burdened by the unseen chains of societal expectations and personal doubt. When Elliot encounters the sage, a mysterious figure living on the city's outskirts, he begins to uncover powerful truths about the nature of freedom. Through their conversation, we are invited to question the very essence of liberation and the self-imposed limitations that hold us back. Experience Elliot's transformative guidance from the sage, who challenges the idea that freedom is an external gift and teaches that true liberation starts from within. Through heartfelt discussions and profound realizations, we explore how releasing our attachments to limiting beliefs can open the path to genuine peace and personal empowerment. This story is a thought-provoking reminder that the journey to freedom is as much internal as it is external, offering listeners a fresh perspective on what it truly means to live freely. Thank you for listening to Infinite Consciousness. We hope you'll not only enjoy, but find inspiration, insight, and clarity with the tip, tidbit, or tell of today. Remember, we are always creating, whether deliberately or by default. Together, let's each deliberately create a life full of joy and fulfillment.
In a bustling city nestled between mountains and the sea, there lived a man named Elliot. His life, like the lives of many others in his democratic nation, was framed by routines and rules, yet it was a life that seemed bound by invisible chains. Though his country was hailed as a democracy, where the people were free to vote, speak, and live as they pleased, Elliot felt trapped. His daily existence was colored by a sense of restriction, an unspoken heaviness that weighed on his shoulders. He had the right to be free, but somehow, it didn't feel that way. Elliot had grown up in a society that valued independence and liberty. He had been taught that the structure of the government was the ultimate protector of personal freedom, and yet, as he looked around, he noticed the same pattern. People went to work, paid their taxes, followed laws, but there was an underlying tension in the air. Faces were blank or weary, and eyes often held an unspoken longing for something more. The freedom they were promised never seemed to materialize. One evening, as Elliot sat alone in his small apartment, the weight of the world pressing on his mind, he began to reflect on his life. He had worked hard for his education, found a stable job, and paid his bills on time. Yet, there was always a feeling that something was missing. His health was not what it once was, and his relationships, though seemingly functional, lacked depth. He longed for a sense of peace that eluded him, a sense of connection to something greater. It was then that Elliot heard about an old man who lived on the outskirts of the city. The man, known as the sage, was said to possess great wisdom about life and the world beyond what could be seen. Desperate for answers, Elliot decided to visit him. The journey to the sage's humble home was long, and the roads became more winding as Elliot traveled further from the city. When he finally arrived, he found the sage sitting in front of a small fire, his face glowing in the soft light. The sage looked at Elliot with a knowing smile and gestured for him to sit. "I have been waiting for you, Elliot," the sage said, as though he had known this moment would come. Elliot, startled by the old man's words, asked, "How did you know I was coming?" The sage chuckled softly. "The heart of a seeker always knows its path. Now, tell me, what weighs on your heart?" Elliot poured out his frustrations, his confusion, and his sense of being trapped. "I live in a land of freedom," he said, "but it feels like I'm in bondage. I'm bound by rules, expectations, and limitations that I can't seem to escape." The sage listened patiently, his eyes never leaving Elliot's. After a long pause, he spoke softly but firmly. "You are mistaken, Elliot. Bondage is not determined by the form of government or the structure of your society. It is determined by what you hold on to within yourself." Elliot frowned. "What do you mean?" The sage leaned forward slightly, his voice calm and steady. "Freedom is not a gift granted by others. It is not in the laws or the structure of the government. True freedom comes from within, from the release of attachments to limiting thoughts, fears, and beliefs. These attachments create the illusion of bondage. You may live in a nation that calls itself free, but if your mind is shackled to doubts, fears, and limiting beliefs, you are as bound as any prisoner." Elliot thought about this for a moment, and then asked, "But how do I release these attachments? How do I break free?" The sage smiled gently. "By first acknowledging thoughts that make you feel good. Tell the story of what is wanted. Once you shift your focus, the path to all that is desired opens. You are the creator of your reality. You have the ability to create the life you want, free from the beliefs that bind you." The sage continued, "Think of all the things that make you feel good. Whether they are the warmth of sunlight on your skin, the laughter shared with loved ones, the calm of a quiet morning with a cup of tea, the beauty of a vibrant sunset, the satisfaction of helping someone in need, the joy of reading a favorite book, the exhilaration of creative expression, or simply the peace that comes with being in nature. These moments, no matter how small, are the things that connect you to the flow of well-being. They remind you of your power to invite more of what feels good into your life. You will discover a freedom that transcends any external circumstance." Elliot felt a shift in his heart, a small opening where the light of understanding began to filter through. He had always believed that freedom was something that had to be fought for, something external. But now he realized that the true battle was within himself. Over the following weeks, Elliot embraced the sage's teachings. He began to notice the thoughts and beliefs he had been holding. Societal expectations, self-imposed limitations, or the weight of fear. Rather than clinging to them, he started focusing on thoughts that made him feel good. Thoughts of abundance, possibility, connection, and self-worth. Each time he shifted his attention to a feel-good thought, he felt the weight lift, the tension ease, and a sense of flow and freedom emerge within him. With every feel-good thought, he felt more aligned with the natural rhythm of life. As the days passed, Elliot noticed a subtle transformation in his world. His health improved, his relationships deepened, and he found that his work, once a source of stress, became a space for creativity and fulfillment. He was no longer bound by external circumstances, for he had shifted his focus with thoughts that uplifted and empowered him. One day, as he walked through the city, Elliot realized something profound. The people around him, his neighbors, his colleagues, even strangers, were living in the same world. Yet some were bound by their thoughts and others were free. The difference wasn't in the government, the laws, or the structure of society. It was in how each person chose to relate to their own inner world. Elliot had discovered that true freedom came from within, freedom from the limiting thoughts and beliefs that prevented the free flow of well-being. And in that moment, he understood the deep truth the sage had shared. Freedom was not a gift given by others. It was a state of mind that anyone could choose, no matter where they lived or what their circumstances were. The chains had been broken, and Elliot worked forward, free.
And now, your tip for today.
In many democratic nations, the majority of the population may experience as much bondage as those in other forms of government, because bondage is not determined by the structure of governance, but by an individual's attachment to limiting vibrations that prevent the free flow of well-being. True freedom arises when these attachments are released, allowing well-being to flow unhindered.
Love this tip of infinite consciousness? Desire more? Never miss an opportunity to deepen your understanding and alignment. It's a beacon for those seeking to illuminate their path and live a life resonating with deliberate leading-edge creators. Head over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe. By tuning in, you can expect to find inspiration, support, and guidance on your journey to living a life that is authentically yours. Furthermore, it not only explores the poetic landscapes of growth and manifestation, but also provides tangible techniques to bloom your desires into reality. Embrace the wisdom and continue on the journey of crafting a crystal clear life. You are appreciated. Thank you.